I just got done playing Nintendo's next release, Drag and Drive. Drag and Drive? Drag X Drive. We're gonna go with Drag and Drive. It's time to drag and drive. Global Jam. I have some opinions about it. I am not really sure that this is quite the best debut for mouse controls for a game as I think they were hoping it would be. I got my Joy-Con 2s with the strap, baby. Oh yeah, we already have those on. So you have to tighten it because this game is pretty intense. When this game was first announced, I think the idea of it was really cool. Just showing that there can be two mouses used at the same time for a single function was a really cool idea, but then they kept showing more and more in the trailer, and they kept realizing there's not that much to this game. Now, if you're not one of those people that got to go to the Nintendo Switch 2 events, we finally got to play it with the Drag and Drive Global Jam over the weekend. Similar to like the Splatoon Test Fires and the ARMS Global, what was it called? Test Punch? Drag and Drive's Global Jam was just an opportunity to play some of the core game, and I think it was supposed to get people to want to buy it. You could probably tell I am not the biggest fan of how this turned out. When you launch the game, it puts you into a pretty lengthy tutorial with a lot of different mechanics that seem like they would be very intuitive, but just feel really, how do I say it? The movement and the controls feel very loose. Like I would barely move my mouse forward and I would be flying in a circle already. It was hard to keep myself moving in the right direction. Add on top of that, using the triggers as brakes, pairing that with motion controls of lifting up each trigger to pop onto one wheel and then lift the other to do a little bunny hop. All these things are pretty complicated. When you're actually trying to play it, it doesn't feel as intuitive as it might look. And I think that's intentional. There's a system in place where the more complicated your trick is before you get a basket will give you more points. So this, of course, to incentivize mastering the controls and just getting really good at movement and handling. Also, while you're moving, if you ram into someone head on, it causes them to lose the ball, and then it's up for grabs. You can steal the ball. This seems like it would be a pretty cool mechanic, but I was having the hardest time actually lining myself up to ram into someone. Because if you ram in from the side, it makes them stutter a little bit, but they still have the ball. You have to ram into them head to head, and that just was pretty difficult with the movement. And I will say, I did play this for a little over an hour, and I did get more comfortable with the controls, but more comfortable does not mean comfortable. In fact, my wrist started hurting almost immediately after starting the tutorial. And of course, there's no other options. It's motion controls only, mouse plus motion. So the movement in itself, it works. It just feels kind of slippery. I don't really feel like I have full control of my person, and it takes a little bit to get to full speed. But once I do get to full speed, I can't control myself after that. Of course, movement's only half of the mechanics here. Shooting the ball feels kind of similar to Wii Sports Resort's basketball game, but because you can move around in all directions, it also takes into account of which direction you're facing, how far away you are, and also if other people are ramming into you. You can also use the ramps at the edge of the court to launch up and get a slam dunk. That didn't always seem to work. You had to get quite a bit of air to do that, and still it didn't always seem to line up for me. Maybe I was just doing it wrong. Overall, it didn't seem very consistent on the action I did determining if I was going to make the shot or not. This definitely seems like a game that would be best played with people that you know instead of joining into like a lobby with random people. I think the buttons you have for communicating are, it pops up cool, hey, and no problem. So you can't really get across everything you would need to. There's a few different builds that you can have that just change up your speed, your weight. I didn't really experiment with those too much. I just picked the neutral one. And you can also customize the look of your character with different color options and a few different styles, and then like a finish on those styles. So a little bit of customization, and it looks like there's more that you can unlock in the full game. You guys will have to let me know what they are. Overall, not quite the game that I was hoping it would be. I didn't expect it to hold my attention for very long. I think I said that in the video for my Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, but it didn't even really hold my attention for more than an hour. Now I can see that some people will find this really enjoyable and with the movement really like master it and figure out the tricks, but I just don't think I was one of them. There was one person in the lobby I was playing with. His name was Jordan. He was really good. He could turn pretty quickly. Seemed like he just had good control of the character, but that was about the only person. Other than that, you'd get the ball, you'd try to make a breakaway, and inevitably you'd miss, or you'd run into someone, or you'd fumble with the controls, and then it would all go downhill from there. Rinse and repeat for as long as the matches are. I don't actually even know how long that was. And it's hard to tell just because this is a global jam. It's not actually the full game, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot to do in between. For the global jam, your only options are to join a park and go to the eShop. But it looks like you can play matches against computer players, but we didn't really have the option to do that outside of the tutorial. Overall, I'd say this is a pretty cool idea for a game, but it just doesn't seem to be executed very well. A little bit more style or flair to the games, kind of like ARMS or Splatoon did. Doesn't have to go that hard, but just something a little more than what looks like would be a prototype to a game that would be finished later on. Drag and Drive to me seems more like a proof of concept of what the mouse controls are capable of, which are promising. I'm really excited to see what else Nintendo has planned. But I think I'm going to skip the full release of this game. The hour and a half that I played was plenty enough for me, and I'll just be waiting patiently with Joy-Con 2s in hand for the next mouse mode game. For me, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the one that really determines to me if mouse mode is a gimmick or if it's actually a feature that's here to stay. But let me know what you thought. Is Drag and Drive your game of the year? I can't even say that without laughing. Is Drag and Drive your game of the year? Are you planning on buying the game or just passing? For me, I don't really plan on buying it, but maybe if it goes on a really deep sale, I might pick it up just for fun. But thank you guys so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you're new here and giving this video a like if you liked it. We'll be covering lots more Nintendo Switch 2 games that are coming out, and of course some Mario Maker as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.